Hey YouTube friends, I'm filming a bonus video for you guys today that I had not expected to make. I was watching plenty YouTube, as I do, and Anna with Plants actually put up a mid-year plant tag video. And I just find plant tag videos so much fun to watch, but also I absolutely enjoyed making my one in December. And I thought I need to turn my camera on and make one for you guys as well. So I've printed Anna's questions out and I just thought I'll sit here with you. I've got our tea, of course, and I'll go through them with you one by one. The only thing is it's nighttime outside. So anything that is outside, I'll just use B-roll for, because not only is it dark outside, but it is so windy at the moment. I've made sure that I've shut all the doors and windows so that it doesn't actually get picked up by my mic. It's amazing. We don't normally get this sort of wind until August. I really don't know what's happening with the weather at the moment, but hopefully my mic's doing a good job and you guys can't hear the weather that is just going bananas outside at the moment. Just quickly, if we haven't met before, hey, I'm Mel. After some medical complications a few years ago, I found myself needing to retire from a career that I absolutely love. However, fast forward to today and I'm proud plant mum to over 150 plants. This channel is all about bringing you along on my planting journey, mistakes and all, and hopefully giving you a bucket load of tips and tricks along the way so that you can bring some more greenery and calm into your home as well. So grab yourself a warm drink, get comfy, and let's talk about plants. The first question on Anna's list, I actually found this question quite challenging. So best plant so far this year. And I have flicked between so many plants to answer this question. I actually cheated and looked at some of the other questions first to see where I could put some of my other favorite plants to make sure that I was getting to show them all to you. So the plant that I landed on for best plant for this year was actually my Ponytail palm. And it's not a plant that I talk about very much at all on this channel because it's actually grown significantly and it was living out on the front patio, but I've just moved it even further out into our front entry. And sorry, I'll have to use B-roll for it because it is well and truly outside out the front of our house and there's no way that we're going out there in the dark, in the wind, and I think it's even just started raining. So the Ponytail palm is a plant that I've had for more than 20 years. It came with this house. So when the old owners moved out, they left the Ponytail palm. It was actually in a plant stump that it grew out of. It actually split the timber and it's lived its life in various pots and other stumps and it just keeps growing. Last year it was on our front patio and it had started outgrowing that space as well. And I had to make the decision whether I put it out in the garden in the back area or whether I made it a feature plant right at the front, at our front gate. So I went with the feature plant at the front gate. As I said, it came with the house. It's just a plant that is so sentimental to me. So slowly, over a few weeks, I dragged this big plant from the patio. And when I say dragged, I had to use a trolley, a removalist trolley. And I slowly dragged it across the front yard and moved it towards our front entry because it actually gets a lot more light on the front entry where I've got it at the front gate than what it was getting on the front patio. And the last thing I wanted was for it to have a moment on me because I don't know, it was established when we got it. So I don't know how old this Ponytail palm is. Just because I had to move it, I didn't want to stress it out. My neighbors and my husband thought it was hilarious as I slowly stepped this thing towards the front entry. It now has pride of place in about, I think it's in an 80 centimeter pot these days. It has just taken to the new location so well. It didn't miss a stride actually. I'm so relieved because it can now get as big as it wants. It's our feature entry plant as well as a bird of paradise plant that we have out there. I see it every morning as I'm coming and going from the house. It's finally found its space, I guess. Oh goodness, that tea's so hot. I might put it down for a minute. So question number 2, the best plant rebound or recovery. Now apologies guys, this one is actually outside as well. So more B-roll. Is it a Macho Fern or a Macho Fern? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I'll put the name here for you guys. I used to actually walk past it when I walked the dogs and they had it hanging on their front patio. Editing Mel popping in here guys, just quickly. I edited this part of the video, the bit where I said that it was actually my lovely neighbour's large fern, but then I realised the rest of the section didn't make sense. Just to let you know, it was actually a beautiful neighbour who's only a few houses up. It was their fern that I used to walk past walking the dogs, and oh my goodness, so grateful that they trusted me to rehab such a beautiful plant. And it started off, I'd never seen such a big healthy fern, and over time it had slowly become not so healthy and it actually outgrown its spot and they'd had to remove it, and so it disappeared from the front patio. And then I was walking the dogs one day and they said to me, Mel, that big fern that we've had on our front patio, I don't know if you've noticed, but we've got nowhere for it and it's just sitting in a bucket around the back of our house and it's dying. Would you like it? Do you think you can recover it? So I, of course, said, yes, please. So I dragged it down here. It was in a 20-litre bucket, and I'm talking just a bucket with a handle, no drainage. Its roots were root rotted. That was so black. The fronds were all brown. There was such little green left in it, but I could see there was life. So I just cut all the brown fronds off, cut a lot of the root rot off, put it in my DIY chunky mix. And for a little while, I didn't know where I was going to put it either. I just knew I couldn't let a beautiful plant like that die. So it was a plant that definitely got moved around a bit because I just know how big those guys get. So anyway, where I settled for was under the macadamia nut tree, and I moved it back a bit so it doesn't get any direct sun. So it's just getting filtered sun morning and afternoon, and I found its happy place every day. I go out there and it just makes me smile. It fills out around the bottom of the macadamia nut tree and it just gets bigger and bigger and greener. I love that plant so much. When I talk about the macadamia nut tree garden, I don't have that energy or capacity to look after all of the gardens in our yard, but the macadamia nut tree garden, it's just outside the patio area. I guess that's why I do focus on it, because I can see it when I'm sitting here at the dining table, so it sort of feels like part of the house, even though it's not. All right, number 3, favorite plant acquisition, or have you crossed anything off your wish list? So this is another plant that I've crossed out, changed my mind on, found really hard to choose, and the one that I finally decided on literally minutes before I started making this video is just behind me. So I'll just go and grab it. So I'm going to give it to this little guy because I didn't even know I needed this plant. So when I used to think of Pileas, and if anyone had said to me, do you have one? I just thought of the green Chinese money trees. And I guess they'd never really appealed to me because I have a lot of green plants around. So I'm always looking for something a bit different structurally or color-wise. And so this genus wasn't even anything that was on my radar. But if you remember my Mother's Day story, the reason I adore this is literally my husband and eldest son were on their way home from motorbike riding. So motorbikes in the trailer and all, they were driving past my favorite nursery, popped in and chose this plant for me for Mother's Day. And that just delights me on so many levels because firstly, they didn't have to do that. I didn't ask for anything for Mother's Day. My son chose the pot. I'm all about blues and greens. Like this sort of blue is one of my favorite colors. So I was delighted that he chose me this. And it's a little bit quirky as well, which is so up my alley. And my husband saw this and he said, I just know how much you love dark textured leaves. And I just knew that that was a plant that you would love. So there is so much to love about this new acquisition. Apparently they stay as quite compact little bushes. So I just love the fact that as this grows and propagates, I'll be able to put little pops of it around the house. It was just such a thoughtful gift. And also it's been, touch wood, super easy to care for. And I have a little propagation here to show you guys as well that seems to be going well as well. So massive thumbs up to this new plant that I didn't even know that I needed. Okay, number 4, any new plants that have caught your interest. Now, firstly, I do not need any more plants. In fact, I can probably see myself even getting rid of a few more plants to Plant Club because remembering that I got all of those new plants recently and unexpectedly, I feel like I still might have a few too many plants here in my collection. So not planning on bringing these into my collection, but definitely they've spiked my attention. And I've got 2 here. I couldn't choose because they're both definitely on my watch list. So the first one is a pink variegated Begonia maculata, and both of these I'll need to use B-roll because obviously I don't have them. I watch a lovely channel called Plants by Melissa. Oh, and by the way, I'll make sure that I put Plants by Melissa and Anna with Plants. I'll put links to their channels down in the description for you guys because I love watching both of their channels. Like they are so knowledgeable about plants and they just seem to be such lovely people. I watch their videos every week. So Melissa in Plants by Melissa has a beautiful pink variegated Begonia maculata, and I love watching the stories about that plant. It has definitely caught my eye. I'd be interested to see how it compares to the normal Begonia maculata, which seems to grow really well in my house. But I'm conscious that they do get quite decently sized. I don't really have room for one, but if I had room, that is definitely a plant I would consider. Although I went on Google and it looks like they're pretty hard to access here in Australia. So I don't actually even know if that's something I might be able to get here in Australia, but that one I'm definitely watching with interest. But the other one I am actually going to get because I could see it going really well out in the macadamia nut garden. It's called a black rose succulent. I'll put a picture and its scientific name up here because I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I saw this dark succulent and I thought, not only is that going to be perfect for Halloween because I love Halloween, for anyone who's been here for a little while knows, but also having that dark pop of color as well because I'm always looking for that. And the good news with that one is I can actually get them reasonable. Oh my goodness words. I can buy here in Australia for a reasonable price and will definitely be coming into my collection over the next few months as I build that macadamia nut garden. I'm stumbling over my words a bit more today, guys, because I'm trying my hardest to slow down my talking. One of my lovely viewers, and thank you so much for your comment, reminded me how quickly I talk, especially when I get excited about plants. It is something that I have been told my entire life, and I'm also super conscious of my Aussie accent. I have some beautiful friends over in the US. When I first started dialing in to their Zoom calls, they literally couldn't understand what I was saying. They were constantly asking me to slow down and repeat myself. I'm going to try to work really hard to slow my talking down for you guys. So please bear with me. It is not something that comes naturally to me. From a very young age, I've been told how fast I talk. When I first started making my videos, I put captions down the bottom. It does take a while to do the captions properly because if you just put the generic YouTube ones on, there's usually typos and it doesn't get all of the names right, particularly plant names. It takes me a solid hour, I think, to do captions properly. But if it's worth it, I will absolutely do it for you. So please let me know down in the comments. Firstly, with me being conscious of trying to talk, is it helping? Or would it also be good if I put captions in my videos? Because I have no problem spending the hour if it's actually adding value to you guys. Just let me know down in the comments. Back to the plants though. Of course, I'm going to show you an Epipremnum in this video. This has definitely been my biggest plant surprise so far this year. Last year, I had a golden pothos, the good old school golden pothos, had them all around my house. I might have had this variegation, but over the last few months, I've just luckily through Plant Club, through friends, I've been getting all sorts of cuttings of all the different types of Epipremnums that there are out there. And I've fallen in love, guys. I've got mixed pots of Epipremnums all over the house. I'm delighted in all the different colors and sizes. The dark leaves, the variegated leaves. I've got some neons, you know, just those that pops of that the neon color. I love how easy they are to look after. I love how easily they propagate, and I think it is definitely one of those plants that I will always have in my collection in some form or the other. Okay, number 6. Biggest plant disappointment so far this year. So that one was pretty easy for me. Although, even though I say disappointment, I actually, dare I say, relief at the same time, because I've just said Rex Begonia. I adore Rex Begonia. I will always adore Rex Begonia. I think they are just, I don't know, they're weird and they're colorful and they're textured. I don't know if I need that many in my collection. I'm sure I said it in last week's video, but this is now the only Rex Begonia that I have left in my collection. So this plant survived falling off the wall, getting completely broken across the floor. The pot was scattered, she was scattered, she was in so many pieces. Pretty much every one of these leaves is new since Christmas, January. There's not one original leaf left in this plant. And then she survived our February heat wave. And at the same time as the heat wave, me being on that 2.5-week holiday to Japan with my brother-in-law, plant sitting, turned the heat lamps on instead of the grow lights in the ensuite. The other 2 Rex Begonias that I had fried, they melted. They weren't coming back. By the time I got back, it wasn't good. I tried to revive them for 2 or 3 months, I think. But you know what? In the end, I put them in the compost bin. They weren't coming back. They weren't looking good. They weren't bringing me joy. And I thought, I'm okay with that. It was sad because I love them. As I said, they're some of my favorite widow plants, but they do take up a lot of space. They do have moments on me when I repot. They do just flop for no reason sometimes. So I'm happy just having the one. because it is spectacular. It is super easy to propagate. It's pretty hardy. It doesn't have moments on me when it repots. In fact, I can drop it on the floor apparently, and it's just going to come back. So I will always love Rex Begonia, and I will always admire them in other people's collections, and I will always be drawn to them in a nursery. But at the moment where my collection is, I'm really happy only having this one in my collection. I do have a number of cane begonias, but for anyone who has them, cane begonias, you know, they don't require the humidity. Like for me, even here in Brisbane, in Southeast Queensland, we get decent humidity here. Rex begonias have always needed to go in my ensuite. I tried them in ambient, they just get crispy edges, and I don't have humidity cabinets or anything, so the ensuite was the only space. So I'm happy just to keep going with my cane begonias that I can actually put around the house, and just have this one plant in my ensuite who has well and truly earned her spot. Look at those colours. I wish you could see how textured and velvety the leaves are on the camera. Try this tea again. Hopefully it's not so hot. Oh, it's still pretty hot. Okay, number 7. New favourite plant care revelation, supply or tool. This one was really easy for me. As you guys know, sinus, chronic sinus. So none of my plants are in soil. They're either in hydro, semi-hydro, my DIY soilless chunky mix. So I spend a lot of time, I've got outside of the patio, I've got 2 60 or 70 litre bins just that I got from Bunnings, and I'm constantly mixing my own soil mixes up. I found a brand from Grow Kings, a mix, I'll put it up here for you guys. It combines perlite and my cocoa core fibre and my cocoa bark from memory. When I've tried some of those pre-mixes before, I haven't been happy with the ratios, or I haven't been happy with the quality of some of the components, but this one ticks all the boxes for me. It's saving me so much time in making up my soil mixes. It is obviously a little bit more expensive getting it pre-made, but it wasn't ridiculously expensive for the time that it saves me. I bought 2 big bags of it, and I've almost run out. So I'm about to do another order, and this video will definitely remind me to do that tomorrow. And then all I have to do to it is add some leca. So I normally add some leca to that. So one of my big bins, I do a general DIY chunky mix, and then the other bin I have just perlite, and then depending on the plant that I'm putting up, I will change the amount of perlite. So it definitely saves me time. So if you imagine I'm pouring the Grow Kings mix into the big bin, and I'm pouring leca, and then I'm stirring it up, and then the other bin I've got perlite, and just add a bit more perlite depending on the plant. It's simplified my chunky mix so much because I'm not having all those individual bags. I'm not having to pour into a big tub and then I stir it with a big spade and more mussed up, and it's quite a mess. It is a lot more simple, thank goodness. So number 8 is the most aesthetically appealing plant. And I'm laughing at myself a little bit with this one because remember I said we're filming at nighttime, and what do Oxalis do at nighttime? For anyone who doesn't have an Oxalis, they start closing up at nighttime. I've had it sitting in the kitchen under the lights, hoping that I can trick it into staying open, but nature's winning. It has started closing up on me. But if I had to choose a plant aesthetically that I'm just in love with at the moment that isn't an Epipremnum, it is definitely my Oxalis, because I've said it in so many videos, so I won't bore you guys, but we've had a battle. The introduction to Oxalis for me has been a journey. Neither of these plants were happy coming into my care initially. It was a bit of a rocky road with both of them. When I repotted into my chunky mix, I thought I'd killed both of them. And it's only been in the last few months that they've sort of rebounded. And as you can see, they're flowering for me. Some of the leaves on both of them actually are almost as big as my hand. You can't tell at the moment because they're closed for nighttime. And these are definitely a plant that I can see propagating some more now that I know how to do it, and having a few more around my house because I just love the colors. I don't know that the camera will do this one justice either. Look at that. Hang on, I'll put this one down so you can see the other one closer. So tip for new players, don't film Oxalis at nighttime. We've made it to the last page of questions, guys. So here we go. It's folded. Number 9, your most sad looking plant. And this one, unfortunately, was very easy to pick. My saddest looking plant at the moment is, unfortunately, my philodendron ring of fire. And looking at it on the camera, it doesn't really show how sad this poor plant actually is looking. If you remember a few weeks ago, this was one of the plants that I got in with those 9 unexpected plants. So it was a neighbor who was moving house, and it was in amongst a number of other plants, predominantly Epipremnum and some ferns. And I could not believe my luck that there was a ring of fire in amongst them. And luckily, my other plant friend who collected all of these plants didn't have space for it, because these guys, if it survives this, will get quite big. Oh, absolutely still can't believe I have a ring of fire. I repotted it, of course. It was in soil, which my sinuses say no to, but it was in garden soil. It was heavy, it was dense. There was about 3 times as much soil as I would have in my plants. So I thought, I need to repot it. It's winter here. I'll put it into my chunky mix and see how it goes. And it's quite floppy. The camera's not really doing justice to how floppy and unhappy this plant is with me at the moment. It had a beautiful new leaf unfurling that I don't even know if it's still going to unfurl. Its leaves just don't have the vibrant color that they had. But I have read, I'm just going to put it down. Actually, it's a bit heavy. I'll place it so you can still see one of the leaves. I did read on the internet though that they have quite fine and sensitive roots, and they can have a bit of a moment after they're repotted. So I've got my fingers crossed that this is just its moment and that it will come good for me. So at the moment, it has a priority position in the propagation room. It is underneath a grow light. It's right next to the dryer, so it's getting the humidity. So I've tried to keep it out of winter conditions as much as I can, just to let it recover. I've got my fingers crossed because it is such an absolutely beautiful plant. I've researched how big they can get as they mature, and I've got a perfect spot in mind out on the back patio now that I've done that bit of a shuffle and I've been able to move the fiddle leaf fig out of the way. Question number 10. Any plants left to acquire or plant projects to complete before the end of 2026? So definitely do not need any more plants. I will get those black rose succulents for underneath the macadamia nut garden, but no more indoor plants. And I guess I'm just going to say the macadamia nut garden, the way our house is shaped, it's actually a U-shaped. Have I ever explained that to you guys before? So pretty much regardless of whether you're in the lounge room or the kitchen or our bedrooms, we look out onto the backyard, and our yard, it's not a big block. So a lot of the garden really feels like it's part of the house, and we've got bifold doors and old school windows that open up. It does really feel like an inside outside house. And ever since I've had these esophageal problems and I haven't been able to eat food, I just don't have the energy that I used to do the gardens. But I figured the macadamia nut garden is such a prime place that we look out, and it's such a important part of our backyard because we've got that big established tree. I thought maybe I could just slowly build that garden, one plant at a time as I have energy. I think in last week's video, I talked about some of the indoor plants that were getting too big. I've been able to put them out under the macadamia nut garden, always clippings and stuff from Plant Club. I've actually been able to build it quite cheaply. I haven't had to purchase any new plants yet actually to go in around that garden. My only new purchases will be those black roses, and I love cousin its. Oh my goodness, I've always wanted some cousin its. I can totally see them climbing down the front of the retaining wall. So that's definitely a plenty project that I would like to finish. I know this says completed before the end of 2026. I'm not going to say it's definitely going to be ready for Christmas, but it's just something that I work on slowly. And don't worry, one day when it is finished, I'll share it with you guys as well, because I've really been enjoying that project. Number 11 makes me a little bit nervous. It's any new plant hot takes or controversial opinions. I am really bad at controversy, guys. I just want to bury my head in the sand and not say anything controversial. I couldn't even think of anything to say. There's nothing really that popped up for me with that question. I'm just reading my notes here to see if chat gave me any suggestions, because I had a bit of a moment, not the plant, when I read this one. And it suggested something like just my ideas around enjoying beginner plants and enjoying those staple plants and not needing to have those rare and expensive plants in your collection, just finding joy in some of the more simple plants and keeping plant care easy. I don't know that that's controversial, but I feel like at least I've been able to put something into number 11. So let's move on to number 12, which I feel much more comfortable talking about. So number 12 is, what plant trends have you seen this year so far in the plant community? I was excited by this question because I've really been enjoying watching a lot of planty creators this year talk about downsizing their collections and not necessarily chasing those rare plants, and people finding value in heirloom plants or keeping plants for long periods of time and really growing them out to their full potential. Leaning back into those beginner plants, those basic plants, and not needing to be consuming, I guess, as much, and having those unboxing videos constantly and just feeling exhausted by our collections and having to keep up with, you know, the Instagram and the TikTok trends. It's been really nice watching people in the plant community slow down and really just enjoy the plants that we've got, or even decrease the number of plants that we've got. It is certainly something, because I have to be so careful with my energy, and I have to remember that I'm not superwoman. I'm just super conscious with my plants to make sure that I keep that balance. I can enjoy all of my plants, but I don't feel overwhelmed. And right now my plant collection is definitely on the cusp, because I have had those new plants come in, and I'm always getting new plants month after month with Plant Club. I said at the start of the video, didn't I? I definitely could decrease 1 or 2 more plants from my collection that I can think straight off the top of my head. And pretty much every month when I have Plant Club, I'm constantly thinking, is there any plants around here that I could actually donate to Plant Club? I think my test is if a plant gets a pest, or if a plant is just not doing so well, will I go the extra mile to look after it, or would I not bother putting in the effort? So for example, the Ring of Fire that I showed you, I feel like that plant is, even though it's having a little bit of a moment, it's worth my energy. The Oxalis, oh my goodness, that was a journey, but I felt that an Oxalis has been worth it. We've made it to the end of the list, guys. If you've stuck with me through all 12 questions, thank you so much again for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed this bonus video for the month, completely unplanned, wasn't expecting to make it for you. I mentioned in last week's video that the next video that I make will be on grow lights, and that one is still coming, don't worry. As I said, this was just a turn on the camera and let's have a little bit of fun with Anna's questions. So whatever you guys are up to this week, I hope you're having an absolutely amazing and plenty week. And until my next video, guys, take care, and remember, you've totally got this.